Lower Dauphin Falcons for the Piaa State High School Football Championship. Along with my broadcast partner, Bob Workwitz, I'm Bill Navarre. Great to have you along on a chilly Saturday evening here in the mountains of central Pennsylvania. And Bob, tonight it's the 16th week of the Penn Hills Indians football season, and tonight literally is their Super Bowl.
Definitely the Super Bowl. This is what it said when they started exactly a year ago. They started lifting weights last December 9th, and this was their goal in mind. Of course, you build it up. You have a stepping stone of so many goals. Quad East Championship, undefeated season, WPIL Championship, and those have all gone by the wayside. Penn Hills has achieved all those goals, but the big goal to being the #1 team in the state of Pennsylvania in the Quad A ranks and the Quad A classifications. And tonight it is the Penn Hills Indians taking on the Lower Dauphin Falcons, and should be a good game on tap.
The Penn Hills Indians 14-0 on the season. The Lower Dauphin Falcons are also 14-0, and that's the way you want a championship game to be.
Indeed, coming down to it's actually a great matchup. If you look at its similarities, you mentioned both 14-0, and both of these teams like to run the football. Both of these teams average close to the same amount of points, 31.4 for Lower Dauphin. Penn Hills is at 27.4, and they allow them the same amount of points. Both teams have pitched 4 shutouts, including one in the playoffs, and it's different in District 3. That's where Lower Dauphin comes from. They play the District 3 playoffs, and then they have 2 rounds, quarterfinal and a semifinal round in the PIAA playoffs, whereas the WPIL Championship, where Penn Hills defeated Upper St. Clair, that is actually the PIAA quarterfinal game. And Penn Hills, of course, was victorious last week over Erie McDowell, 28-0 to get here. And it was last Friday evening. It was Lower Dauphin 33, Plymouth White Marsh 6. That's how the Falcons got here.
The Lower Dauphin Falcons are led by their quarterback, Brian Broadwater. They got an excellent running game in J.D. Schumann and Sharon Schertzer, and also some excellent linemen, the Twin Towers, Brett and Brad Leichleitner.
Yeah, the Leichleitners on the offensive line will do the job. One is a guard, one is a tackle. Both are 6'2", 6'3", and they go about 240, 250 pounds, and it's going to be a tough task for them tonight against Penn Hills. You mentioned the quarterback is Brian Broadwater. He is coming in completing 58% of his passes, 1,302 yards passing on the season so far, and he's received interest from some Ivy League schools, so that speaks well of his intelligence. You mentioned the running game. It's J.D. Schumann who leads the attack. He has 1,118 yards, and Shannon Schertzer is his backfield mate. He's at 564 yards. But a key statistic, it has been most of the year, Bill, the size and the talent of the Penn Hills interior line has just overwhelmed some teams. And coming in tonight across the offensive line, from if you include the ends, all 6 offensive linemen on both teams, Penn Hills averaged 263. Lower Dauphin has averaged 210, so a 53-pound weight advantage for the Penn Hills Indians.
The Penn Hills Indians come in tonight with the key matchup being the line play between the 2 teams. The Indians have been healthy through the season, but they come into tonight's game with some injuries in some key positions.
Well, Ronnie Graham has nicked up knee and an injury. Dave Zakia, the kicker, is fighting a bad knee on his kicking leg, not his plant leg. So a little bit of advantage. Might cut down on his distance. The big injury is Mike White has, I believe, a separated left shoulder, and he has that pretty taped up. But of course, you would probably have to just hog tie him and shove him in a dumpster somewhere to keep him out of this game, the importance of this game. But those are the nicks and bruises, and I'm sure, hey, it's cold, so that's going to numb some of the injuries. But I think the excitement and the adrenaline is going to definitely overtake the hurts and the bumps and the pains.
You talk about a lot of the similarities between the 2 teams, and there are quite a number, but one of the dissimilarities is the Penn Hills Indians, on their way to a 14-0 season, have played 14 Quad A teams. The Lower Dauphin Falcons have played only 6 Quad A teams.
And obviously 3 of those coming in the Quad A or classification in the playoffs. They have their schedule is different, and I guess classification different out of District 3. Lower Dauphin hailing from around the Harrisburg area. And Penn Hills, as you said, all 14 of their games have been against Quad A opponents, including a tough, started way back week number 1, even before that, but Butler was the first official game, and Penn Hills has been on a roll. 14 chapters have been completed, and you're only guaranteed 10 chapters, and it's up to you as a team to try to get more chapters added on your story. Penn Hills has had 14 chapters end perfectly. It's number 15, though, that'll unfold tonight.
The Falcons, they have played teams AAA, AA, and Single A, but give them credit, though. It does take, something that they are 14-0, and any team that gets to this point does deserve it. We'll just mention the starting lineups for tonight. The Penn Hills Indians will start the ball on offense. Their probable starters: Jared Smith at center, Damon Gibson at guard, with Mike White nursing the separated shoulder. The tackles are Teddy Fitzpatrick and Kevin McCoy. The line, all seniors. Now you got getting into a bunch of juniors in the backfield. You got Ronnie Graham at the tight end, BJ DiNatale, a wide receiver, and Damian Germany, a wide receiver, all juniors. In the backfield, you have Lenny Gilmer, a junior, Victor Strader, a junior, Dwayne Thompson, a junior, and Hoggy Livingston, who is a senior. So one bittersweet moment about tonight's game, the Penn Hills Indians playing for the state championship, but also a lot of the seniors on this team, this is their final game as a Penn Hills Indian.
Yeah, but what a chance to finish your season, Bill. A lot of seniors get no chance to go for any kind of championship at all. These players have tasted the sweetness of a WPL championship. Now it's their turn to come out tonight in their 15th and final game of this year. They can say, hey, we went out on top. We were the #1 team in the state of Pennsylvania. Not the #1 team overall by some people's estimation, which would be Berwick, who put a hurting on Sharon in the AAA semifinals. If you look at the national rankings, Berwick is #1. Penn Hills comes in at #5 in the country, but still, that's pretty good. It says a lot for the Penn Hills program in the year they've had. As you see.
A fine job by the Lower Dauphin Falcon band. You see the Penn Hills seniors on the far side of the field coming on. Senior captains. On the left, number 65, Damon Gibson on his way to Pitt. Number 77, Kevin McCoy. You haven't heard a lot about him this season, but what a season he's had, flanking Mike White, who is to his left, nursing the separated left shoulder, number 75. And also on the end to the far right, you see on the screen, number 33, Jeremy George, who has also had a stellar senior season for the Penn Hills Indians. Ceremonial coin toss here in the Big A at Altoona High School Stadium. They had a coin toss before the game in the end zone. The Falcons won the toss and have deferred to the second half. The Indians will receive and move left to right. The Indians dressed in the gold helmets, white jerseys, and red pants. And the Lower Dauphin Falcons dressed head to toe in blue. The Blue Falcons, Bob, wasn't that a superhero, the Blue Falcon?
I think you're right. Let's hopefully no superheroes tonight in blue.
Let's hope they're in red and gold. So the Indian offense, which comes off an excellent week last against McDowell in the state playoffs, not as well as the defense did last week, but the Penn Hills Indian offense last week putting 28 points on the board against Erie McDowell will receive the opening kickoff. Downfield to deep to receive. The man in the middle, 22, Dwayne Thompson, flanked to the near side, 21, Victor Strader, and Damian Germany on the far side. Jeremy George will dot the diamond at about the 20-yard line.
This is it, Bill. This is what you work so hard for. This is what you play for. This is what you sweat for. And only one team, unfortunately, can be called the state champion. And it seems so long ago that this season and these workouts started. And it all comes down to at least 48 minutes of regulation football. Could be more. Could be.
Eric Miller kicking off for the Falcons. A short kickoff. Will be taken at the 30-yard line by Donnie Chichilla. And he gets the Indians out in excellent field position at their own 42-yard line, where they'll get things started off to start this Piaa state championship football game.
And if you can harken back to last week, Bill, field position played a major key. Penn Hills had great field position all day. Here in McDowell only dipped their toe into Penn Hills territory one time. Penn Hills starting at their own 42.
And that was on the final possession of the game.
And not for long. For one down, as a matter of fact.
Lenny Gilmer in a quarterback. Livingston and Thompson in the backfield. In motion is Germany. And there's the little big man plowing for 3. Oh, 2 out to the 44-yard line. The Lower Dauphin Falcons stingy against their run all season. Look for the Indians to maybe put the ball into the air, much like they did last week. Talking with Neil Gordon this week in the office, he says, watch for the tight end screen. Play we haven't seen all year from the Indians. Thompson out, Strader in. DiNatale and Graham on the ends. Germany wide. Second man through is Strader, who crosses over the 50-yard line and is still 30, 35, 30. Victor Strader being knocked out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. And just like that, the Indian running attack is up and flying high.
It's a 1-2 punch, second to none in this state. Victor Strader, Dwayne Thompson, week in, week out, they're almost unstoppable. And a huge, huge game by Victor Strader, starting at his own 44, deep inside to the 14-yard line, we're going to call it, of actually more than that, of Lower Dauphin, but inside the 20 to the 12-yard line.
The Indians go to the power I formation, Strader and Livingston in front of Thompson. And it's the little big man over the right side, and he gets down to the 5-yard line. Mark it at the 6. But the Indians just blasting off the football.
We'll call that a gain of 44 for Victor Strader. And Thompson picks up 6 more.